Alright, this is my academic component, and it's pretty loud. What it is it's a heat pump. I made it for my 7th grade science fair project, and what really inspired me to do a heat pump was the fact that we were getting geothermal installed into our house, and geothermal uses a heat pump, and I found out heat pumps are also used in air conditioners and refrigerators and other things like that. Now what a heat pump does is it takes the heat from one side and moves it to another. So this is the cold side and this is the hot side, and how it does that is there's a refrigerant gas called Freon in the pipes, and first it starts out the compressor, which does exactly what it sounds like it does. It compresses the gas, and when it does that, the gas is now under pressure. When gas is under pressure, it gets hot. So there's hot gas coming around through here, and it comes through here and it's hot, and the pipes get hot, so the pipes radiate heat into the air on this side, and as it goes around through there, it goes through the expansion valve, which is this, and it's under pressure, but when it hits this, it's not under pressure anymore, the pressure gets released, it expands, and then it just starts to change state, and when it changes state, it needs a little bit more heat to boil, so it can change state. So the heat is getting sucked out of the air and used to so the gas can change state, which makes this area cold, and then it goes back to the compressor and repeats the cycle. And I actually took data on this. I put water in this one that was 70 degrees and water in this one that was 70 degrees, and if this would go down by 30, this would go up by 30. And so it really proves that it doesn't just create heat, it doesn't create heat, it moves heat. And in a minute, I can start this up again. It's kind of not, it might be a bit too much since there's so many people here, but I was going to have people see the difference, but it's kind of, I can start it up during the celebration after, and people can see it for themselves now because it's kind of crowded here and I need to keep moving on. So this is just a diagram of it, and yeah, that's my academic component. I'll turn it off. Alright, so next is my personal interest and talent component. Is this too loud or?
No, that's good.
Okay, you can. Okay, that's me, and same shirt. I learned outside the textbook, and one of the most important ways being in trips. So I have some trips, pictures of trips. This is the first one. This is at Sugarloaf. Right. Not only does my family go on long trips, but we also go on short weekend or 4-day trips. My family are big skiers, so we have taken weekend trips to mountains such as Sugarloaf. Mount Cardigan trips. You heard a bit about Mount Cardigan in my speech. And this is the first year, and because my brother and sister could only carry day packs because they were too young, I had to carry a lot of stuff. So did my dad and my mom. And that's always a lot of fun, and we usually stay up there for 3 or 4 days, and then this is the next year. And I have braces this year, and I'm carrying slightly less because my sister's carrying a big pack. My dad's still carrying a lot, though. And next slide. This is the trips to Florida. We've gone on so many trips to Florida, I just decided to put one picture in because I couldn't decide. And yeah, this is us. This place we go to, Blowing Rocks, and it's all coral, dead coral, and it's really fun. It's really cool. And that's me, my brother, and my sister. Other trips, these are just some other trips. We went to the Hoover Dam. Those are cars back there, people. Really big. And then Yosemite, and we actually took this picture. It's not off the internet, so it was really beautiful. Next trip. Grand Canyon. This is us. There's the Grand Canyon back there right around sunset. All right. Niagara Falls. Route 66. My grandparents moved out to Arkansas for a year, and we went out and visited them. And my dad took my sister and I on a little road trip. And we went around to like, all those states in that area, and we to Route 66. Shenandoah, and this was the last 2 Aprils ago. And we went camping with my dad, and my mom stayed home, and it was a lot of fun. And then after that, we went to Washington D.C., and that's us on the Capitol. We were all pretty tired that day. And I also went to D.C. again with the middle school this April. Last summer I went out and I flew out by myself on an airplane, which is kind of scary. And I visited my grandfather and grandmother and great-grandmother who live out there. And we went to Kings Canyon. I went up to Kings Canyon and Kings Canyon and Sequoia National Parks with my grandfather, and we camped up there for a few days, and it was a lot of fun. Got to see some really big trees, and those are Sierra Mountains in the background. That's my grandfather, and that was a lot of fun, really fun trip. And then Belize, my most recent trip I went on was probably the one that has affected me the most. I had a ton of fun, and I also helped out with an organization called SHI, Sustainable Harvest International, that helps some people who live down there in poverty. And this experience has led me to plan a trip with RVCS families and Free the Children group next April to help out those in need. And here's some pictures from my trip. This is from the place we stayed on at the beach. And then we also went to an iguana center, an iguana iguana research rehabilitation center thing. And there were some iguanas on me, baby iguanas. And big iguanas are big. Next picture. That's me on a rope swing. And that's my whole family at a Mayan ruin, Zunantunich. And that's at the lodge we stayed when we were helping out. You could stay with the families, but my parents decided my brother was still a bit too young for that. So. And this is a boy that we saw when we were helping out down there in the villages. And that's inside one of their houses. So, yeah. That's another picture. They just have hammocks and fires in the corner, and they'll have like a radio or whatever, but that's about it. And chickens running around through the houses and stuff. And then we were helping out cutting some chicken wire and making a garden for some people down there. So they use slash and burn, which is not good. Next picture. And then this is us all outside Cotton Tree Lodge where we stayed. And yeah. And before we move on to questions, I'd just like to say I'm sorry that my sister was not able to make it. She's up camping with her class, but she wasn't able to be here, but she's here in mind.
Oh, that's fair.